Is that baby food?
That's right, because sometimes life breaks your teeth, and you need non-solid foods to have substances in your body.
Survive.
Shout out to Sadie for hooking it up today.
And
Welcome.
to the Savage and the Sexy. It is your favorite not safe for work nymphs, SB and K, here to make your day. And we are wearing lingerie, and apparently baby food is on the
Strawberry
menu.
and apple.
Oh, strawberry and apple.
It's really good. I wish they were bigger, but they're for babies.
Oh my, you got the sauce. I was literally going to say she's got the sauce. She's legit got the sauce today, guys.
There you
I do,
go.
and I got yogurt too. Thanks, Sadie.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, Sadie baby. She's so sweet. Hello, Sadie.
Hey, Sadie, I love you.
Also, happy belated birthday.
Yeah, it was her birthday
Yeah.
yesterday, which will be like a month ago once this comes out.
Happy
But
super belated
she's
birthday.
awesome! A quick little Sadie story. So, her dad is a great cook. Like, if there's anything that I hate with food, if he makes it, I will eat it.
It's too good. Yeah.
Yeah, like I don't do seafood. If he makes it,
You'll
I'll fucking
eat.
it. I don't
Wow,
care. I had my first
anything.
lobster roll last night.
Oh.
And it fucking melted into my mouth. I was like, yeah, I don't do lobster, but it was fucking delicious. But what I love is every year, her dad will cook a bunch of meal. Her whole family comes over, grandma, grandpa, everybody. And he does a bunch of appetizers, then he'll do the meal and dessert. And he used to, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, I might butcher this, but he would supply restaurants with all their like cooking equipment and
Okay,
stuff like
yeah.
that.
He's a restaurant supplier.
So he has, his kitchen is just like top of the notch.
Wow.
So things are coming up literally like a restaurant. And when I tell you we had like 10 appetizers last night, it was, he just come in, there was like, he served like these mashed potatoes on like a silver spoon with like all these sauces on it. And he's like, here you go, and had like little bacon.
They're like hors
And it's like,
d'oeuvres.
yep. And then lobster roll, then steak and cheese sandwiches,
Oh my
then crab
God.
legs, then these
I saw your snap. That shit looked
yeah,
crazy.
it was crazy. And then these like cool baked brie, and then like these cool little like it was like French onion soup bread.
This is literally like
And
all my
then-
favorites. French onion soup bread. Stop
Not
it.
even a soup, bread.
Stop.
And then like this potato. It was like a million. So that we thought that was pretty much dinner just coming out in waves.
It was like a 12-course meal.
It was a joke. And it was like, I mean, things usually happen late. We got there at 6 and it was like 11. We're like, hey, we're just waiting for dessert. She's like, it's just dessert. It'll be great. I was like, cool. And
What is
they're like,
just dessert?
Dinner served. We're like, what? Turn around. And that whole thing that was on my stop was dinner, not the 12 entrees we had
Wait,
before.
so what
as
was
an
left to
appetizer.
make for dinner? If you already
Literally
had 12
full
entrees.
size lobsters that he put like mashed potato in, and like the toppings were like crazy.
Actual crack it open, dip it in butter
it was
lobster.
good. Lobster legs, steak, a whole thing of potatoes. Oh, so good. And then like these potato wedges having in your fucking mouth, and then fucking Brussels sprouts melted. in
She
your
was
mouth.
not a vegetarian
By
yesterday.
that time,
Did not happen.
I couldn't. I took like 5 bites, and I was like,
I'm going to throw up.
I literally
I'm going
was
to,
like,
because
and
I'm
it's
so full.
good
Yeah.
that it's like you keep wanting to eat it.
Wait, how are you feeling today?
I don't know. I probably gained 10 pounds overnight, but
It's
you
just-
best to believe
it's
I
water
ate dessert
weight.
because they were sherbet.
Wait, what was dessert? Oh, no. Was it homemade?
Why'd you
Wait,
say
what color?
there was
What color?
It was all homemade. There was
What
like
color?
an orange passion fruit, and then there's one that was like I forget what the other one was. I don't even know. It was so good. And then this, I don't know, a yogurt thing that had strawberries and this like cool marshmallow looking thing. What was that, Sadie? What was it? I don't know.
Okay, wait.
amazing.
Idea.
Amazing.
Would Sadie, would you and your dad like to be guests and feed us a 6-course meal on Savage and Sexy?
Her dad will.
Yeah, we got the table for it.
No, you want to go for it?
We'll definitely have Sadie here because
But
she'll
if
talk
Sadie's
about it.
here, then it can
But
be for
it's
Sippy, and then it's for us.
so funny. But literally, I love going to her house. Her dad's house now because she lives with her boyfriend Ryan. What's up, Ryan? He gave me this koozie. Shout out to Eastern Ramp. So the one and only official skate park company. What's up?
Ooh.
So,
Wow.
just shouting out.
I've only
It's
ever
great.
met Sadie once, but
And it's
she
great
was
when she has her
very
pool parties. Her dad makes these he makes these cauliflowers. Do it bomb. It's
okay.
so good.
I'm gonna need you to stop
I'm
talking about the
sorry.
food that I don't
I'm gonna
get
eat
to
my
eat.
baby food and shut up.
Yeah, eat your baby food and shut up. Yes.
No more broken teeth from me. So,
Yo.
but they
JQ has
literally-
entered the building.
Whoa.
gotta
Yo, quo.
these bigger. My nephew has some, but his are always like spinach and
Ew.
weird vegetable stuff.
Ew.
These are just tiny. You need more.
Ew.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Now that you're full of the sauce and satisfied.
I'm full of sauce.
Full of the sauce. Yes.
I'm full of baby sauce. I'll probably need another one in 10 minutes.
You don't want to be full of baby sauce.
Well, ew. What?
Yeah, exactly. Ew. No baby sauce.
Wait a minute, weird. Anyways, in other words, I love you. Amanda, what's going on in your life?
I'm just watching my co-host evolve over here.
Running on 5 hours of sleep all weekend.
So why don't we actually let's recap? I feel like so normally I feel like normally I feel like I'm talking about navigating my depression and
That's my turn.
we did kind
That's
of
not funny, but
we did kind of flip.
but that's hilarious.
It's not, like it kind of is true. Like normally I'm the really depressed one. Okay, not allowed, but no. But like yeah. So I feel like okay, even though yes, like I feel like we swap places a little bit, but I hope we both come to a nice homeostasis point eventually where we're both just good and in the middle. But career-wise, I think we both are having a really good time right now. And we also just did a shoot together yesterday that was
really cool.
super fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Colors by Harry.
Yes,
Them up, we
at
did.
Colors by Harry on Instagram.
And then, of course, we modeled some clothing for Jackie, which was great.
And she's going to be coming on soon. Yes.
So excited for that.
Amazing
She's
fashion
doing
designer.
Some great big things. And we're
How would you guys describe that
excited.
theme? Because I saw like clips of it. And I thought it was very.
So we
it
were
was
at a
beautiful.
nice little
Elegant goth.
wedding type. We were at a nice
Wedding.
cool church, and she has all these intricate gowns. That so gorgeous.
Like the perfect intersection
then
of
Tiffany
edgy and glam.
did makeup for us.
Wicked Makeup Boston,
you go.
our makeup artist.
Yeah, she's like our official.
Who will also be on in the
makeup
summer.
So it was just great people, great energy, and I needed that.
Yes.
I needed that.
Yes.
Because I mean, I'm not surprised by life anymore. So even if I'm like depressed, it's cool. So it's just like that was like a cool like being able to see people I really care about. And again, like we talked about, it's like a lot of the people we interact with are our creative friends. So it's like been a long time. And it was able to like kind of
Come
create
together and
have
all
that.
vibe. And it's like when you're able to create and work with people that you also like get along with, it's fun. Like you're
Right.
working, but you're also having a good time. And like we were just dancing around and
That was a
hanging
lot
all
of
over
fun.
our fake husbands. We have fake
Yes,
husbands.
My beautiful work husband. I love you.
Yeah, you guys all look great. Look, what you guys
Thanks.
posted on social media, it really looked like a good time. I mean, mind you, like I can't imagine you two not having a great time together. So
Put us in a room with some string. We'll have fun.
yeah,
Put us in a room with
exactly,
some string.
exactly. Facts. That's facts, though.
No,
It
it
is.
really,
I'm like, here we go.
it really is.
We'll walk out of there. They'll just be like, what happened?
What?
Like, why is there now a circus in here?
We got
Should've
some
left
great
us.
content that we'll share with you on our Instagram eventually of
follow us on
photos of us looking
Instagram.
fucking
If you want to see
dope.
all the fun things that we do on our journey, it's great. The obvious. This is coming out way later, but we did highlight some great women of color for Black History Month, which should be all
Love
year
that.
long. So
Love
if you
that.
haven't seen those, take a look. These are people we should be learning about growing up in school. So please take a chance to learn more about them and their amazing stories because it's really great and it's really inspiring.
And
Love
as two
that.
women of color who you are listening to right now,
Oh, yeah.
that'd be kind of awesome.
And one day we'll be inspired.
Hopefully go be inspired by those people that had their shit way more together than us.
All those youngins out there.
All right, firstly,
All
our
the
first
youngins.
priority...
You guys stop it.
Our first priority is to be entertaining, and our second priority is to be inspiring. And I think that we fulfill that very well.
So I tell all my dancers, don't you dare listen to the podcast.
But if you were
Yeah, I
listening...
tell you guys a lot, but you guys inspire me for sure.
Oh,
I say it all the time. Not to sound like a broken record, but y'all,
No,
like
it's
I was
true.
saying it off air,
Okay,
like
you can break it.
no, for sure. Like no, seriously, it's genuine. Like some of the moves that you guys make is just like it's really bold. Like so, I just from afar, I really admire everything y'all be doing. Like honestly, you guys want to talk about some of the
Well,
dope
I was
shit
gonna say,
that
I feel like
moves.
all three of us have
We're all
been like
making moves.
making
Sure.
really significant, meaningful moves, and I feel like all of us, at least I know Steph and I can, and Baldwin actually, we're all like kind of evolving and leveling up in our careers, and
It's
just,
exciting because I feel like we can all relate to that move, that transition of moving, where it's like there's not that many people that I could talk to about this, and they kind of understand that transition in specifically a creative world aspect, you know?
And not
it's
even
kind of
that
great.
too, but like a transition, like it's a transition that we have been talking about since the podcast started, how we're like sticking to our guns, doing what we love, and eventually through just sheer physics of the law of returns, like something's got to give. And I'm like,
The law
it's
of
cool.
returns. I love
It's
that.
cool to sit here. A year,
Episode
pretty much a
title.
year later,
That's dope.
almost a year later. It's cool to sit here almost a year later.
When, okay, so some I'm sorry,
April.
this is
Put it on the
so-
Google Drive.
This
dropped
is
it in
so
April.
side note, but someone was like, "When did you guys start your podcast?" And I was like, "Good question."
April, we started. Remember, we're blooming next spring, blooming in April of 2021.
Oh shit!
We started,
There you go.
yeah.
See,
So
you should answer that question. I was like, I think it was midsummer, end of the summer.
just
I don't know.
before, we're coming up on our 1 year anniversary.
We'll do a special episode.
if we remember. But it's really awesome to sit here almost a year later and have us all hitting this new threshold of our career because we didn't stop and we stuck to our guns. Like through all the bullshit and all the stuff that we talk about, and like
That's
obviously,
cool because it's all documented, so it could be like
that's
it's like a
what I'm
timeline.
like.
Yeah,
If you're-
no, I get what you're saying. It's
And
dope.
then
That's
also,
dope.
I feel like there's always a good middle ground. There are people who want things and do nothing, and there's people who want things and overdo it, and then expect the greatness out of everything, where they need to kind of let it be. And so I think we all kind of navigated a
be.
good way of letting it be, but also still working
pursuing it
towards
aggressively.
And
yeah.
it's just so happens the stars aligned with a street that it's kind of happening in very parallel
yeah.
lanes, which is cool, but it's also motivating. Like being able to see you and everything you're accomplishing, like great. Like that's someone I know.
You use it as energy too to
that-
help.
that
Yeah.
It's like if you can do it, I can do it too, and I can keep going, and this could be something great, and my people can come with me.
Dude,
Like let's
literally
fucking go.
So on Instagram earlier this week, Steph landed a really awesome casting, which I'm going to let her talk about because I don't want to steal her thunder, but I saw her in this casting and I was like, oh my God, that's a big fucking deal. And I had a moment of jealousy. And then I was
Joyful
like,
jealousy.
but if she landed this, then that means that I am going to land something. Like that's what it, like that's really become what it means.
It goes back to what you were saying, like the something of return, like you
the
putting
law of
all-
return,
Yeah,
yep.
you're putting all those things out there. One is bound to come.
It has
back,
to. If you keep
And
if you
keep
plant
putting
seed, if you're
yourself.
planting tons and tons of seeds, one of them has to grow. So like the more seeds you plant, the more opportunities, networking connections you make, the more potential there is for that to return to you. And like I feel like I know that we for our modeling and just commercial work and stuff, we aggressively, constantly put ourselves out there. We are planting
When I tell you
seeds.
that, like every other day, I'm
you're
doing
auditioning or something? No, literally,
And I'm
I'm like,
in
I
the
gotta
living room, like, okay, I'm pressing record.
Yeah.
Everyone, shut
You have
up.
to be like, I had to stop, like literally this week I had to stop, drop, and do 3 different callback auditions. I had to find the time, like literally I had an hour within my fucking stacked day. I had to do my recording within that hour, and I had to get it done. I had to get it sent.
So
and it
how's
was,
that process, dude? Like, how does that, like, when you go into that, what's
So
Like the step by
it's
step, if you
essentially
guys
like
mind.
it depends on what the role is, but for the most case, some roles will just give you a description of what it is, you submit, and if they want to pursue with you, they'll come back with something for you to like videotape to send over,
which is a callback.
Which is a
If they
callback.
like what they
Okay,
see,
so they tell you like a very specific.
Sometimes.
it depends.
Sometimes it's not. Some like the one I got.
Yeah,
was,
let's use yours as an
example. So it was marked as like a beauty thing. They're like, it needs to be comfortable in their skin, and they just ask you questions like, do a self video, talk about your name, who you are, where you're from, what's your
Right on the spot, right?
Yeah,
Damn.
it's like kind of
what is
improv
your,
based.
Okay.
perfect getaway, like tropical getaway.
Like they wanted
and
to see
what do
her.
you look for, like in a swimsuit or something. Just like questions to get to know you, because they want to see your personality come out in a video. Like you have things on your profile, but like they might specifically look for that, and then based off that, they might then email you, be like, okay, we want to have you do a video where you do a 360 and talk about your scars or things on your body that you're not so proud of that you're trying to learn to love.
It's like
again.
more
And I talked
specific.
about like my
Okay.
specific scars, cellulite, stretch marks, and I'm like, here it is, like this is what it looks like, blah blah blah. And then they just kind of like get to know you a little bit more. So sometimes it could be a lot of back and forth, especially if they have several people and they're finalists. They're trying to figure out who it is, what days they're available. Sometimes they know for sure it's gonna be Thursday. Sometimes they're like, it'll be arranged from Monday to Thursday in 2 weeks, and we'll figure out what day that goes. Or like,
So
it
how
just
much
goes from
notice
there.
did you have for this one when you landed it?
Well, I got my call back pretty much within the week of applying, but they gave a range of like 4 days.
Oh, so
of what it would
you could
be.
like pick one of like what?
Like it will be one of these days.
Right.
And so it was like, I prefer if it's
this day.
these 2 days, because the other two, I just kind of throw that out there. And then I got the callback that was just asking for 2 additional videos. And at first I was like, okay, cool. They're like, yeah, you're a finalist. We want to, do more videos. One was specifically looking at what my tattoos were,
Okay.
and how many I had, and the other one was like the scars and stretch marks and stuff like that. So I sent those. That was within the span of like 2 days. So essentially, once I got the request, I just literally went to a window, got naked, and was like, here we go. Like, this is what it is. And then they were just asking like, oh, are you available like this specific day? And I was like, I can try to see, if I get it covered because like work, but like I know I'm free these 2 days that were available. They're like, okay, well, let us know if you can be available on this day. I was like, okay.
So did you have to call out?
Yeah, I ended up getting it covered, which my job is really flexible, so that was great. But like they don't tell you like, oh, we want to go with you specifically at that time because it's not yet.
They're still kind of just like testing you out,
They're still getting some stuff.
getting the feels for
So
it.
I was just like, okay. I was like, well, I don't know if I want to. I was like, I could try to get it covered, if it's going to be for sure. But, let me know if it's for sure on Thursday or this and that. And then once I was like, okay, cool. Yes, I can get Thursday. Literally within 30 minutes, they're like, great, cool. We want to go with you. Here's your official offer. I was like, oh, so they were just wanting to get me on Thursday.
That's fine.
Because they're like, from your first audition, the client loved your smile and your personality. And that just did that. And then the videos I sent them, I didn't cut anything. I let it be raw. I was just like, oh crap, like, oh this. So I was like, yeah, this is what happens. Like, that's my dog just trying to be in the shot. And they're like, we love that your personality just came through.
That's great.
In those things. And then I was able to get it through.
It's dope that you acknowledge that because you know how to cut videos and shit like that. So
yeah, like
the
if
fact
there's
that
any
you just
weird,
knew,
awkward silence, I'll try to clip it so it's smooth. But a lot of the times I just kind of keep it because then they get to see your personality.
Well, and like really quick interjection, like to me, that's a perfect example of what we talked about a few episodes back where it's like you don't have to be perfect. You can have these moments of real raw.
They want someone they can like relate to. Literally, I did an audition, and while I was talking, my earring fell, and I was like, my earring fell, and I popped it, and I tried to put it back, and it was like, it's okay, it's a new trend. We're just going with it, and I just started going, and it was just like, that's hilarious.
Because like the imperfection sold it. Like the thing, it's not even imperfection, but what a lot of people would perceive as an imperfection, sold it. And like that's I love that though, because you don't have to be perfect to have the right qualities. Like,
right.
Oh, I love it.
I almost feel like if you're too perfect, it's like too much, but it was really cool. I didn't think my first, and I didn't find out that it was for specific dubs. Dove company.
Fucking
and so
Dove.
literally I landed it and they're like, oh yeah,
Dove.
by the way, it's gonna be like Dove products and you'll be like taking a bath. And I was like, okay.
I'm sorry, by the way,
that's so you.
fucking international brand, Dove.
I was like,
what?
I was like,
Now we know why I was jealous when I was like, you're Dove? You're literally, how the fuck did you shoot for Dove? I was like, where did they find you? And then like I talked to her, she's like, oh, they found me on Casting Network. And I was like, I didn't even see that casting. Like, what the fuck?
because
Like,
it was, I literally was just like, wait, what? Are you serious? She's like, yeah, it's for Dove. I was like, oh, okay. I acted so natural. I was like, that's cool. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, you're like, oh my God, I got a
you're like
commercial.
sweating, like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah, that's why it's always worth, even like if you have like some sort of doubt, it's still worth just pushing yourself through it just to put yourself out there.
Because there's always
because you know there's always a chance for an opportunity to come up.
that you don't anticipate.
There's people that work for people that work for bigger companies and they're able to see it. But I thought it was hilarious. Like everyone on set was great. Ended up driving to New York because I forgot you could take the train. Tire exploded, but it was cool. I got there safe. I know. It was literally like 6 a.m. and I'm like, AAA, buy a new tire, broke bitch, made it. So once I got there,
You got there.
First thing was just like, it was really kind of like a cool meditation to kind of like help people get away and take a bath and feel great and like a beautiful like mango almond scent. Oh, it felt so
almond.
beautiful. This is a freebie, Dove, okay? And then
But
I
get
was
at
just
us for
like going through a
sponsorship.
routine of a meditation in a bath and I was just like, let's go. I'm always naked anyway. It felt so me and I was just like, this is perfect.
It's so
I was like, this is like the ultimate bath. I'm always taking baths.
And you're
I was
getting
just
paid
like,
to take this fucking bath.
I know. I was like, this is great.
This is the stuff.
It was cool to also see it. Like there's
The
we
process.
are very like those kind of people that like to get behind the scenes, like seeing their process, like adding some fog so it's really dreamy. Ooh. Like I felt like I had to cut a mango and I had to like smell it and like breathe it. And it's like that felt so like I could see it being a commercial. I was like,
my God. You felt like you were the commercial. Like you
and
felt,
the guy's like, I'm gonna get
Amanda,
really
isn't that shit
close to
perfect
you.
for her?
No, literally, yes.
Just like
Yes.
just recently you coming in the door where you just came back
Which
from.
we'll circle
Literally,
back to that
it was-
too.
So
Yeah.
it's funny how like
It
both
was cool.
both
They
things
were
you got.
like just the
Yeah, for-
right. They found us and were fairly easy
And
to
I think
get.
it's cool because I experienced mine. You will experience yours by the time this comes out. But it's like you still get the high of like being on a photo shoot, but it's like that whole
different.
world that you want to tap in. And I'm like, this is great. Like they were just like, oh, they're obviously the mess ups are like this. There's so many. I was just being silly. They're like, this is gonna be for the outtakes. So they're like gonna make a whole blooper thing. And I was like,
yes.
I need all of
I want
these.
to see it.
So
really
and I'm so
badly.
excited. And Amanda has like these wonderful hands. Like, look at the way she holds that can. Look at that hand.
Yo, bro, I didn't know, bro, I didn't know that you were a hand model. I seen you post a few pictures.
Now she is.
So
Look at my hands.
it's funny because I was a little jealous last week because I saw Steph land at that gig, but then I was like, okay, nope.
Then you
like
manifest that shit.
this all even if you're jealous, that's fine. This ultimately means that if she got it, you're gonna get something. So it's just not your time yet. Your time will come, but like this is her time, and it's supposed to be her time. So just keep doing your thing. Don't like get all weird about it because there's nothing to be weird about. Just like. Doesn't mean anything about you. Just do your thing, right? Because you can take it personally. Like, at least for me, I can take things personally, whereas it doesn't even have to do with the other person. It's like, but I know I can do stuff like that. Where are my opportunities too? Like, I want, like we talked about this. Like, I want my opportunities too. It's not about taking them from the other person. It's
like
about
you want to be able to show that this is something you can do.
Yeah.
And it's hard because when you haven't, like we were talking about,
but you know that you can.
You can.
Yeah.
And it's like once you can get that step, it's like now I can show people I can with a name brand and keep going from there.
It's not
so
about...
that is just getting your foot through the door so that you can keep going.
And so I was just like, all right, just keep up, because I was auditioning for a lot of stuff. I had a lot of stuff in the pipeline. So I was like, you really don't know when you're going to get you don't know when you're going to land a job. You put so many feelers out and you don't know who's going to call you back.
It could literally be 2 days before.
It can literally be the day before where you're like, oh, suddenly I have a job and I have to be on set tomorrow.
Barely 3 days before, if that. It
Yeah.
was like Tuesday. It's like, well, can you come
Yeah.
on Thursday? Okay.
You're lucky if you get actual good notice where you can prepare. Usually you have to just like cancel your schedule and jet and go and get your bag and have a good time. But like, so I was auditioning for a bunch of stuff that I had in the pipeline. And then I actually have an agent in Maine, Durago Talent Agency. Thank you, David. What up? They're a really small agency, but they have a pretty good reach. And so we both are on casting networks. So we both are freelance applying for work. And you got that freelance, which I'm wicked proud of you. So like, that's fucking
that was really
awesome.
cool.
Also, I want to just say I'm like really proud of you for that. And I'm like really happy for you.
It just felt good because I struggled with the agency part of like not wanting to be completely tied down, but still do what I want.
Yeah.
So like being able to like, I did this
know that
on
you
my
did it by
own
yourself and that you
makes
did
me feel like I can keep going.
It's so empowering, right?
Yeah.
It's
I mean, I
that's
still
actually
want
something
an
I wanna-
agency, so but, you know.
So just in general, like with you know, you guys getting these opportunities and stuff like that, and then like this is like pretty new for both of y'all.
Very nice.
It's just dope because these things right here really build your confidence. Like even like Amanda, when you came in here, you were fucking glowing.
dude, it was so valid. It was valid because
yeah,
it's
so
like you already. I know
that's
what I'm capable
that's gonna
of.
help you. And like you were saying, even if it, however it works out, it already built your confidence.
And like so to get back to my story and like kind of what he's talking about. So on Friday or on Thursday, I got a request from my agent for a potential hand modeling job, and I had to send in some photos. So like for Steph's, this is a really great juxtaposition because this process was actually very easy for me. Like you had to do a few videos and stuff, which I've done that before. I literally just sent them pictures of hand modeling stuff I've already done, and then I had to take 2 reference photos of my hands like this, and that's all I had to do. So I sent them on Friday. On Saturday, literally when I was with Steph, I got the email that they had selected me and that I got the job.
Feeling.
I know. I
literally someone looks at the front, they're like,
I was like screaming all day. I was like, I fucking got. And like the thing is like we've both gotten jobs from like smaller local independent things, which still are meaningful and that's still awesome. And I still want those opportunities just
but
as
I feel
much.
like that helps us with the bigger things because a lot of the stuff that I have in my portfolio is the stuff I've been able to
that
do
was
with smaller companies.
Me too, exactly.
To like really help me get comfortable, really help me start putting that, really like help elevate a brand. Like that's
it practiced
cake
the
that
craft.
I love.
Yes, yeah, and
then
it's
the
like smaller
frosting is
platform. Yeah, and well, so and like I love that we both have had ample opportunity to work with solo people and work with like smaller brands because like we've been paid before, but like these are our first big, huge brands, like big deal nationally / internationally recognized brands. So like I don't. If I just bleep this out because I don't know if they're going to make me sign something to say that I can't work with them, but I got casted for my hands. So I'm working with blenders and you're going to see these fucking claws on there. But I also, so the story that Baldwin was referencing before I came in here today, I actually had an audition. We pushed back recording just for me, which I was very grateful for because I had a last minute audition that came up on Friday for Sunday. And I don't know how many women were auditioning, but I got a call back for it. So I talked directly to the casting agent and he asked me questions and I was on Zoom with him and stuff. And before I went in, I literally prayed and I was like, all right. I was like, whatever happens, I just want help with guidance through this situation. I want help seeing the utility of it. No matter what happens, I know that there's wealth and that there's something to be mined from this. So, and I was like, obviously, like, you know what I want. You know my desire. You know that I would really like to land this project. But whatever happens, I trust that you're going to guide me and show me the utility and the meaning for anything that happens. And that was it. And I practiced a lot. I prepared accordingly and I was like, there's nothing I can do but like do the audition. It's going to go how it's going to go.
And and just be yourself.
And I like little side note, like I actually originally went to school for music theater. So I used to act all the time. I wanted to be an actress when I was in high school. And then when I was in my early 20s, my anxiety like literally got to the point where it was so out of control that I became too afraid to audition.
Like I almost feel like sometimes it comes back for a certain purpose.
Well, I didn't ask for it to come back.
Yeah, exactly. It just comes when it needs to come in your life.
Back, yeah.
Especially because like I've always loved just, I love improv and just doing shit like that.
And you're so good at it.
You should do stand-up. You should be on TV. And I'm like, nah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's not, it
doesn't
really
resonate
impossible.
with you.
But then being able to connect with people like you guys that are very, like, it's like, I don't think my journey would have gone how it's gone with how you guys.
Well, because
specifically
energetically,
being
we
there.
all are bouncing off of and inspiring. Like, and I do agree.
No, seriously. Like, if I was still in my old life from 3 years ago, I would not. It would not be this. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think I would have taken the risk that I would have taken because I wouldn't have someone I could look up to.
The
be
reason,
like, oh, she could do it. I have someone who's literally like my freaking hype man.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, those are the people in your life for a specific purpose, and you're going through this journey at a specific time. Because there are some times of doubt where I kind of think back and I was like, oh, well, I do still kind of wish this, but I think it all happens for a reason. That I would have kind of let go of that society mentality of the 9 to 5 a little earlier to be like,
to have
if
more
I was 25 and doing this, I feel like I would have had more just energy, just more to be able to do it. But then also I feel like doing it now, I have a really much better sense of who I am and what I stand for.
You have skills now that you didn't have before.
Skills and opportunities and experience that probably wouldn't have happened. And like, I get like a lot of stuff, people are young and it's never too late to still find who you are and your footing. Not that I'm necessarily looking to get super rich or super famous, but there are people that I've known like MFM, like they were in, I think they're 40s or about there before that podcast.
Before they really took off.
You don't know. Later in life.
Yeah, you don't know.
Some of them started
There's so many
acting
examples.
way later in life. It's like, it doesn't need to happen right away.
Yeah, there's so many examples. Like you can really go down any field, and there's so many examples of people just making it when they're a lot older.
But that's because there's this societal pressure where it's like youth is like held as like a paramount thing.
Like if you don't make it when you're youthful, then you never
but like
will.
30, they're like most of like 30s and 40s and 50s is still honestly, it's still young. If you could potentially live till you're 100, 50 is fucking halfway.
And there's a lot of they need a lot of moms and older people.
Dude,
like,
I think I have a theory. I think I'm gonna have my most successful career when I'm in my 40s as a model. I think I'm gonna fucking slay as like an older female model, and I want to do that. Because then there won't
be a lot of them, so there's less competition, and you'll be able to still thrive.
And I'll be seasoned, like ultra seasoned. And I'm already experienced now, but by my 40s, I will have been doing this for like almost 15 years. Longer than that. Like it's
so I'm excited because again, that whole thing that I say like, oh, your 20s are finding yourself and your 30s are for a living. I have a taste of like living of the life that
you want. This is the beginning of the life that
But like literally last year when I was 29, I was like, I'm finally happy where I am and I like where I'm going. And I was at the crossroads where I wasn't really sure exactly where to go. Now I feel like I'm living it.
Yeah.
And I just need to keep going.
No. Literally before I came in here today, I was like on the podcast, I specifically want to say that like, guys, I feel so stupid saying this. And I feel like a little nerd, but I literally feel like I'm living that actor life, that actor model fucking life. Where I'm like, oh my God,
oh my God, are you on TV? Are you from that one show? Oh my God.
I think I saw you on TV.
But honestly, when I tell you the truth, because, people are just like, oh, actor, like you're just trying to make it big. I don't even want to make it big. I'm not trying to be like
known
Zendaya
for what I
or
do.
anyone like that. That's like,
no, I don't want to be that big.
I can't walk the streets. I want to be known in the network.
Yes.
And be that person that's always in the commercial or the brands and all this stuff.
Yep.
That people are like, oh,
happy to work with.
I can see myself as you, but you're familiar to me, but not too familiar. They're like, oh, she's everywhere. Oh, this and that.
Right.
Because once you become that specific person you're used everywhere,
you're too far away.
You're too far away, and then you have to have that specific role for what you're known for.
The pedestal is too high. You still want to be relatable to like everybody,
still be,
or as many people as you can.
What's that word? Not flexible, but
adaptable.
And be able to just be kind of like a chameleon and just change my layers.
I totally feel
and people
that
not
for
even
you.
know that it's me and still be able to elevate that brand. That's my middle ground, to have enough work that my income is good.
And you can support yourself almost solely off of that. Yeah.
I can do the things that I love to do and still be able to work and be in front of TV without it being overwhelming and too much pressure. we had talked about this.
I was going to say, I feel like it's funny that you're defining that because that's something where I've been, like, the past couple of weeks, I've really been defining, all right, I love modeling and I know I want to do it, but, like, what do I want out of it? Like, why am I doing it?
Yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, what do you want to do? You're trying to do high fashion, this. I'm like, no. Like, I'm not trying to go into this world where I'm Tyra Banks or any of that.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, if that became a thing,
right,
cool, I'll try
Flow
to
with it.
do what I can with that power, but I don't necessarily want that. I want to be able to get to a place where I'm known in my network.
Same.
And it's less about engagement. It's less about your follower count.
It's more about the
less
work.
about that. It's more about the work that you bring to the table.
Yeah.
It's what you're able to give the audience, able to relate to that audience, and then be able to give them something that helps
Communicate.
elevate their experience of what you're putting in front of them.
Yeah. I
So
like
that is just
That's
like, that's all I want. Like, I'm even, and then it's not even like specifically, oh, I want to sell you this thing. It's like, I want to be able to see, and like growing up, I didn't see myself on TV, and we had talked about that.
Oh,
I want a little girl to look at me and be like, that could be me.
This is almost you and your inner, like you wish from your
like,
inner child.
I'm doing it for my inner child. Like, that's what I think when you talk about doing things for you, it's like you're doing it for your young self that didn't necessarily
who wanted to be
have that
seen and
thing.
represented and wondered why. No, like that's seriously.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful,
So
yo.
it's just
That's
when you
beautiful.
think about it that way, it's like
It's so much deeper.
I couldn't imagine myself doing anything else because I'm honoring what she wanted for me.
Yeah.
You know? And like that's great.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get emotional.
See, I feel like I can tell. I can
No,
tell.
that's beautiful
and I
because-
love it.
And with that being your intention, like you're good. Like I feel like everything that you guys do is so intentional.
Yeah, literally,
And
intention
drives
me.
It's from such a like real space.
Yeah. But I mean, when you love what you do, it's very easy to be intentional. When you actually are passionate and engaged and like when doing like modeling and shooting, it's like I've been interested in a lot of things, but this is like the first thing in my life where like it completely eclipses everything, and I want it to like she was saying, like she's been sleeping for 5 hours for the last couple of days. Like I literally had been. I don't have a day off until the 13th of March. Because I have stacked my schedule with shoots. I stacked my schedule, and I'll be real with you. I'm tired. I looked at my schedule and I was like, damn, like I don't have a day off until the 13th. Like I didn't realize that. Like, okay, I gotta really like make sure I chill whenever I can because like I stacked my schedule. But I stacked my schedule because like if there's anything I'm going to fucking work myself into the fucking ground for, it's this, and I will do it willingly, like lovingly, like, and it's just like when, and like that's on some level that's unhealthy, but on another level, it's like I'm so fixated and obsessed and driven and focused that like I don't want to do anything else with my time.
Oh, that was funny. I was just about to bring up.
Don't want to do anything else.
Doesn't it feel like when you're in like certain moments when you're kind of like not doing anything because you probably need it?
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like if you're doing anything else, you're kind of just wasting time?
And I know it's not, but I know not all the time. But
like,
sometimes it
I've been in
does.
spaces where it's like,
yeah.
what the fuck am I doing? I can just be doing this.
Yeah. Well, because it's so satisfying. And like to like kind of riff off of what Steph was saying, like she has been defining, really what she wants out of her career. And like for me, I think we're somewhat similar, but the kind of crux of everything for me is like I want to be known in my network for what I do, and I want to be known for being passionate and really good, like great at what I do, and like a good networker, someone that's reliable. But my main thing is I need to continually fulfill the urge to realize and create, because that satisfies me. So as long as I'm a part of things that I can contribute to majorly as a creator, mostly via modeling, but like if I could do like a creative direction, I would love to creative direct something. But as long as I can realize a vision in my head and be known for being good at what I do, whatever level, and also the monetary aspect to make sure monetarily that I'm checked in, however it manifests, that shit makes me happy. That's the stuff where I'm like, as long as I'm working in modeling, creating, realizing my visions, and being a part of that process and making the bag, like that's what I want.
That's fire.
And it's not an easy process where it's like, when
downs,
people
of
think
course.
about modeling or whatever, it's like, oh, it is fun. They're like, oh,
You
it's
just
so
stand
fun.
there
It's
and
all
look
this and
pretty.
that.
They really
but they
simplify
don't realize
it, though.
the waking up at 4:30 in the morning to
Yep.
drive to New York.
Yep.
Your tire that blew up in the freeway and having
Yep.
to buy this barely making rent because you're literally living that starving artist.
Haven't had any free
Seriously
time
is
because
the
you've had to
thing.
randomly audition for all of your pockets
literally
of
running
free
on 6
time, and
hours
now
of
you're
sleep.
working
It's like-
nonstop. Yeah, like
the same thing that you're grinding, you're setting and doing and stuff, like it is still work.
that's why
and
you have to
working
love
double
it.
Time.
If you don't love it, you will not
It's
be
not
able to
worth it.
sustain that.
If it's not your dream and your passion,
It's not worth it. No.
It's not for that. And
because
I relate
we're
to
broke
the,
as fuck. Like we have to
being
make
dead ass
talk
honest.
about my personal life.
like
Tell them, girls. Tell them, y'all broke.
we work hard, but like we're fucking broke.
Welcome.
You don't know, honey. Go ahead, sit down and sip on no tea. You're gonna need something stronger
Take some
than that.
pictures for some change, baby.
Because my personal life is shit.
Pictures for change.
If I didn't have my passion, I would not be
you
living
would-
right now.
No, like
it would
wow,
not be
we are in the same
good.
club.
So this,
We
so I
are
looked
in
up.
the same
Well,
club.
that's the thing. That's what wakes you up in the morning. That's
Yep.
what gives you your drive and the people, of course, your support system as
Right,
well. All
yeah,
the people that you
yes,
have.
yes.
But it's like if I didn't know what my passion was, or
Yeah.
if I was
Oh,
just in a 9 to 5
fuck that noise.
with all my shit, like
I'd have checked out.
no, I would be
Yeah.
like, there's no point.
No,
Like,
literally.
there's literally
Yeah.
no point.
And I've said
because
that
there's
before.
Nothing that's giving you your drive and
Yeah.
your happiness
Yeah.
to work for. It's just not worth it.
No, it's not.
And it is a balance. You're figuring out what's going on. Not everything is always, rainbows and butterflies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always that one thing that's going right, and it's
Yeah.
great. Would you want to be someone in a relationship with me? Probably not.
Oh, that's a good segue. Before we get to that segue, because I already know where you're getting at. This is like a really quick thing I looked up because I wanted to make sure I was right. But this is a different field than y'all. But you guys know, have you guys heard of Tina Turner?
Yeah.
So she didn't get her first hits till she was 44.
Holy fuck! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Tina.
Yeah. So it's like, and there's other examples too. And
There's so many
and I don't
examples.
want to like get them wrong, but like I don't know. I think of just within the music, The Dream didn't come out as an artist till he was like 30, and like there's other Jay-Z's didn't drop his first album till he was 26. He's already like grown, and he's
like you got time, and
Yeah.
that's the thing is like you really do have time, but like you just have to me, if you can make peace, it's kind of like with weight loss. If you can make peace with the fact that it's going to be hard ass work and you're going to be doing it for a long time before you maybe see any significant return, and you don't get to decide how long it is.
And again,
you just got to weather through it.
yeah.
goes back
Once you
to
make the
finding-
lifetime commitment, sorry to cut you off.
No.
Once you make
it's
the
true.
lifetime commitment, that's it. You,
And
like,
that's, we've said numerous
you commit
times.
to it, you find what it is that you go
Yep.
for, and you go for it. I mean, there's people who are fortunate enough to find that drive really early on and have success, and that's great. But I feel like
Most of the
your
time, that's not the
20s
case.
Are your time for trial and error. It's your time to fail. It's your time to learn. It's your time to
Dude.
learn different trades. Like so many people, like, what can't you do or whatever? Like, there's a lot I can't do.
There's so
but the thing
much.
is, there's so many things that pique my interest that I want to try. Like, I love to dance. I love to paint. I'm not a good painter at all. It's great. I love acting. I love singing. I love doing all these things. And there was, the jack of all trades quote or whatever. It's-
Jack of all trades, master of none.
yeah, that people take that as like a compliment, but it is
It's
a
great,
compliment
yeah.
because it's saying if
You're
you are jack of all
adaptable.
trades, you're adaptable. You're able to find your boundaries. You're able to figure out what you like, what you dislike, and then go for what you love. And you find that later in life.
And remember, you don't have to master things or be perfect at them to be worthy and good enough to do them. So jack of all trades, master of none is not negative at all.
No, it's
because you can
complete
be
positive.
incredibly good at many things. Maybe you're not a master, but guess what? We've covered this. You don't need to be perfect or a master.
So if you do have a hobby, like just to throw this out there before we keep going with like the love part of this, it's you don't necessarily even have to be good at your hobby or what you love. Like a lot of people are just like, oh, I'm going to start doing glass bowling. Or I'm going to start doing this. And then they're like, I'm not going to. It's like, oh, I can't do that as a hobby. You can be trash.
Yeah.
If you're like, oh, I want to start doing rock climbing and you're horrible at it, that can still be your fucking hobby.
Yeah.
You could still have fun with it as long as you're doing it and
Yep.
you are enjoying it.
Yep.
it's your hobby or it's your, your passion. You can learn and you can evolve. Like you don't have to be
But that's
a master
still
or
that's
even
the
good
thing,
at it.
though. That's the thing. A lot, and I think we've definitely talked about this before. But a lot of people hyper judge themselves right off the bat. But the thing about it is, if you remove the judgment component and you just focus on letting yourself be okay with not being good at something and you really like doing it and you're like, hey, I love doing this, but I'm acknowledging that I'm not where I want to be and maybe I might even be kind of bad at this thing, but it brings me this satisfaction, it brings me this joy, it lets me focus, it takes up my, whatever the fuck it gives you, as long as it's giving you something that actually makes you feel satisfaction. The moral of the story is if you get out of your own way and you allow yourself to do that thing, no matter how bad you are at it, you will eventually become good at it.
Right.
Like, it is inevitable. The
And
law
I
of
feel
returns.
like a lot
it's
of that
inevitable.
held me back when I was younger. So it was like I would try something like, oh, I'm really not getting better at this thing. I'm not doing it.
Well, because you're too busy being hypercritical of yourself.
Even before dancing. Like again, I've talked about that story. It's like I'm not trained. I'm not this. I can point
all these stories you tell yourself. Yeah.
And it's like that shouldn't stop you from still doing what you love. Because if I had let it stop me from still going for dancing opportunities, I wouldn't be where I am.
And the thing too is you had people that helped you recognize that it wasn't something worth stopping you. You had people that pointed it out to you. And I do think sometimes you need help. Like for me, I needed a lot of help from people. Like, I knew that I loved doing stuff and was good at doing things, but I had all these stories in place that put up boundaries that wouldn't allow me to pursue them in a way that I really wanted to. And it was people systematically over time seeing me, like, Baldwin, you were one of them. You were one of them. It was people that would see me and they would be like, and they would validate me heavily when I didn't ask for it. They validated stuff I already had a suspicion of, but that I didn't allow myself to fully believe because it came from me.
And that's hard to accept sometimes. When
When it comes solely from you, unless you've worked on self-validation, it can be very difficult to believe the truth from yourself. So I am where I am now. What happened?
I said even when others say it, like, I mean,
it depends on where you are in your mental state. But when I was younger, people would tell me stuff, and I wouldn't allow it to affect my perception. But over time, those things slowly began to crack me open. And I remember the first person I worked with for modeling. They told me that I was doing a great job, and that they didn't really have to pose me, and that there were so many good pictures. And that put this idea in my head where I was like, wait, like maybe I can do okay, like. And it expanded me a little further. So like I was like, okay, like it opened me up and I was like, all right, let's try this now with somebody else. And like it was slowly over time I recognized like people, for me at least, I have needed the help of people to see in me what I know is there, but what I do not give myself permission to believe is real. Because it's, for whatever reason in my head, I think because of my lack of belonging issues and my abandonment issues and all this stuff, like I have a heavy sense of self-worth, and I feel I'm not worth it a lot. So I have really been grateful. And I on Instagram, like if you go on my Instagram, I respond to everybody's comments because everybody that gives me attention and helps me validate me has helped me.
They took the time to do that is,
oh my God. And I'm
so
here
nice
because
so
of them.
great. And it's not always someone that you're specifically engaging with either. And it's like, it really turns back to like the people who are crossing your path is for a reason.
And they see you. They see a side of you that you don't see.
Or strangers can see you better
than you see yourself because you have all these stories in the way that aren't true, but that you believe are true, and that you live your life around them and you act according to them. So like for me, like, as much as it's like, yes, we push through and we use a lot of willpower to push through, my success, and honestly, I truly believe anybody's success is a symbiotic relationship with their audience, their clients, their network. I am here only because everybody that has seen me when I couldn't see myself has allowed me to be here and has
given me the support to do it.
Yes.
And it's not even like,
you are who you hang out.
You never know.
You are who you hang out with, right?
You are the sum of the 5 people you hang out with the most.
The smallest impact or the biggest impact, and I feel like it literally the universe, God, whoever, it's for a reason. Whether or not it's long term or short term that people come into your lives, you never know. You never know when it's going to circle back. So it's like being able to just be yourself and put yourself out there and be able to accept that.
No matter where you are, no matter how bad you, and like that's the hard part. The hard part is accepting yourself. It doesn't mean you don't want to be better, but being able to make space for who you are right now, mistakes and all, like talents and all, and to be like, this who I am.
To what is out there and being able to accept what is out there and just.
And be able to say, like, this person is good enough to learn. Maybe I'm not here, but this person is good enough to learn. She can adapt. She can grow. He can thrive. He can like, it's just like, it's so simple when you understand it and when you've gone through it. But like, if you can just get the fuck out of your own way in here, like it really is so simple. Like, and then it's just time. If you can get out of your way in here and not let the time beat you up and not let the time weigh on you and not get so discouraged to the point where you quit. Like, and that's why we have each other, because like we all keep each other on the trajectory of what we know we want. And like, I see her succeed. And even if I feel a little bit of jealousy, there's a cocktail of motivation and inspiration. And well, if she can do it, I can do it. And well, I want to work harder now because I see that she has got opportunities and I know I can get them. So our energies like directly influences each other in a positive way, like to help us both grow.
Have at this phase in my life.
Yes.
Which is like, because what's funny is like you were saying like, oh, you got this commercial or whatever. Like I've been feeling the same way with you just regular work.
I know that too. And that's why I was
you were like, I'm literally trying to hang out with Amanda right now. It's impossible. No,
and I
we're
knew
like,
that
all these dates, all of these photo shoots are just being pushed and moved. And
yeah, they kept getting
moved. She's like, I don't have a date. And I was like, I wish I didn't have a date till April.
Yeah, like, I could feel that from you too. Like when we shot with Nelson and stuff, and that's why I was like, I'm happy she got this Dove thing because she needs it, and I want her to have it.
Feeling stuck can really get into your head, and
can.
It's like, but then again, like still being, you know, I am trying to be very cautious and picky about who I work with. Like I don't want to just create for the sake of creating.
Yeah.
And that's forced me actually to create for myself.
Yeah, good.
Because I went through I was a photographer. I was creating behind the scenes, and then I was modeling, and I was in front of the scenes. Mm-hmm. And some of the times I do a little bit of a creative directing and able to like kind of stand back and create something, heavily relying on other people. But we had talked about being better with self-portraits and being able to do that. And so when I was able to go to the studio and be like, I felt like complete shit.
Yeah.
I was not having a great day. I was not wanting to do it. And I was like, you know what? No, I am going to force myself to go to the studio and just do something.
Because that'd be more productive.
Sometimes you got to go back to the foundation.
You got to do it. And it is hard. Like you have to go back, check, do the angle, try to work on your focus, do it, blah, blah, blah. But the pictures came out way better than I thought, and they were saying something I wasn't able to put into words for myself that wasn't necessarily like super commercial or super high fashion. It was just allowing myself to be me in a raw form, which felt really good. That it was just a little bit. It was like dark tunnel. There's a little tiny light, and that made me feel. I was like, that's what I needed, just that little bit to say. Do it for yourself. Yeah. Do it for your inner child, and that's enough. That's all you need.
Sometimes you gotta remind yourself why you're doing it.
Right. Like I'm not doing a lot of personal creative work, and that's okay because I'm focusing on trying to get paid things and
you have to remind yourself that that's why you're not doing it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And then also tell myself, I'm still here. I could do creative stuff for myself and not have to worry about trying to schedule or do things so that I could do creative things that are just for me.
And that creative skill is facilitating more money for you and facilitating your career. So it's just and like again, that's really relatable to me because like again, I spent most of the last 2 years basically only modeling so that I could stay alive, and like it's not exaggeration. Like it's been really rough the last 2 years, so like I can relate to exactly what. Like I literally would go into shoots having just like had a full on cry meltdown before, where I like didn't want to live, and then I show up to the shoot and I'm like, I'm going to do this because I love doing this, and this is the one thing where it's going to give me enough to get me to the next day. And then the shoot I have on Saturday, I'm going to look forward to that. And that's going to get me through the next 5 days. And then I've got another one next month. That's going to get me through the next 4 weeks. And like, it sounds like brutal, but like it really is like that sometimes.
Really
Steph, give your microphone just a little twist to your... Yeah, girl.
Because that's with everything, whether you're going to the gym or you're starting a passion, like it's really easy to just not want to do it.
Yeah.
Like I think I definitely needed those, but I've canceled 2 photo shoots. I almost literally did not go yesterday.
Yeah.
Like I just
no, I knew you were kind of on the fence about it based on everything.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's
I'm
things
so
that I
glad
was
you
just
went.
like,
That's awesome.
I'm like, it feels so hard to just even get out of bed right now.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
needing to be around people
Yeah.
and not necessarily be fake, but just like knowing that it's gonna be good energy.
Yeah.
And
You piggyback off of their
I'm
energy
trying
because yours is so low right now.
Yeah,
and I feel
so
that.
it's like,
yeah.
but it ultimately was good for me. I think it was good to kind of get that just like, oh yeah, this is why I love to do it.
Yeah.
This is why I force myself to get up.
I do understand the aspect of like being picky about what you want to do, because sometimes when you're in a certain state of mind, it can translate in your work a certain way.
Yeah.
Depending on
you
like,
can see it sometimes.
you can see it. A lot of times, I love that you like went back and you just did something creative. Like you said, like you're still here. You know what I'm saying? You can still do shit on your own time. Like you can do shit without any sort of pressure on you. I like that because a lot of times when I'm feeling some type of way, I kind of just go back to like doing what like you remind yourself why you're doing it. So
Yeah.
like, I go back to just like making a song.
It's like a baseline.
with no intention.
It's an emotional
intention,
baseline.
No
Not
intention
even
at all.
intention to
Yeah.
share.
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
Not even
for
intention to
me.
share. And sometimes that's when the best stuff comes out, when there's no
Yeah.
sort
No
of
pressure.
pressures.
Yeah.
You know what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying?
did that with I had a family friend pass away recently and I couldn't sing. Like I couldn't I felt like I couldn't really tap into that because everything that felt like I would sing about just felt
It would be that.
or just too happy.
It just like robs you of joy.
It just did that. And even when I tried to sing about that specific, I just couldn't. I was just
Yeah.
like, nothing is coming. And one day where I just was like, okay, I'm gonna just see what comes out. And it was literally only maybe 5 lines. And that's all I could say. And then I just repeated it. And I was like, well, I kind of like it. And the beat is really happy, which is kind of ironic. And I love it because it's so happy. But
Sometimes that's all you
super
need.
You probably needed you
sometimes
probably
that's all-
needed
sometimes
it.
that's all you
yeah,
need,
even
yo.
just the
I have
current.
it, and I have it on my phone now, and I listen to it on the way here. It was just something that I could play for myself
Yeah.
when I need to hear that, to be able to be like, I can feel myself going in this direction, and I know I need to feel feels, but I want to pick myself up, but also acknowledge that this is how I'm feeling. So I'm able to kind of play that for myself. And that's it. Like, there's no intention to share it. There's no intention to develop that song in any way or do anything with it. But it just allows me to kind of have that moment with myself. Like, this was made for me. And that's enough.
And with just creative things in general, that's what I love about just like creating. Because when you're in a certain state, like, we all go through it, right? But when you're like creating, let's say making a song or whatever, when you're creating, it almost makes it feel okay to feel what you're feeling. Like,
Yeah.
It almost like helps you almost in a way embrace what you're feeling.
I feel like it
Right.
kind of you
Like,
take your emotions.
You know, like when you're listening to a song that's wicked sad, like you're sad and then you're listening to a song that's wicked sad and it's relating to you so much.
Yeah.
It's resonating a certain way, like harder because you're actually,
you're in it.
you're in it.
Yeah.
And it makes you feel okay to be in it.
But I feel like that's the thing. That's the thing with art. Any type of art craft is it allows you to translate an emotion that feels dangerous, upsetting, restrictive, crushing, limiting. It allows you to take all of those really intense, heavy emotions to carry, and you can kind of process them and translate them into a form that's beautiful.
Right. 'Cause
That you can
sometimes, like,
tolerate,
If
know?
I took those lyrics and just said it to someone, they'd be like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's that. But
Yeah.
it's like,
Well, sometimes
but-
it's how you say something though too.
And then it's like, but here is this in this song that kind of, with the music, kind of tells a little bit more of a story. You're just like, okay, I understand that. I
Yeah.
can relate to
Yeah,
that. And
there's-
it's like
there
it
has to be
completely
context,
turns into something a little bit different, rather that's movement, songs, art, or painting, and it's just like you're able to kind of give yourself that outlet, which is I'm very blessed and fortunate to have that. A lot of people don't have that necessarily.
Or they have very different versions of an outlet like that.
Yeah, of what that is, or don't recognize that's the outlet they need. I've been fortunate enough to kind of have I
pinpoint
still have a lot of work to do. I think I definitely have to go back to therapy, but I have a better understanding of how I need to process through things, when I need to take time for myself. Even if I do, like when recognizing that, okay, I'm taking too much time for myself, I need to reach out to someone, or when I need to dance, or when I need to be like, I'm only focusing on 1 and 2 things and that's it, and be okay with that, regardless of what's happening around me. To be able to recognize that for yourself, because that's what you need to get through it,
like
and know that's not going to be there forever.
Yeah.
It's just the phrase you have to go through. So yeah, that is a phase of self-awareness that a lot of people don't always recognize in themselves, but
we're always learning about ourselves every day.
Yeah.
And just like as someone that's like been where you are for like a little while, like you there's going to be another side, but like I get where you are right now. It's really difficult. And like with that being said, like if you really need any support, you know, you can always reach, because it's like I still have episodes where I go back to that place, because it's like you don't ever leave it. It's always a part of you. Yeah. So like I still will have, like just last week I had 2 or 3 episodes, like pretty much every night I'll have like little crushing loneliness episodes, and it'll be like a slice of what I felt in greater quantities like last year and stuff. And it's just like it's a really hard place to be. So like if you need help, like please don't hesitate. And it's good to
know that people are there. I think it definitely helps. Not necessarily, because I don't know, how do I say this? I appreciate people who do extend their hand, and it's always great. Check up on your friends, even if they say they're good. Just check up on them. Yep. It's great to even just get that text, regardless if they reply or not.
Yep.
Just having that does help. I think sometimes that is not the way I need to go.
Totally.
So
and I literally feel the same way.
If they don't respond, it's not because they don't need your help. That text means a lot more than you think it does, or that call, or that whatever. It means a lot to me.
Well, because it's not about them helping you. It's not about them. It's about you.
Them being there if you need them. And sometimes you will, and sometimes and you need to go a different way. So it's
only okay. You know yourself.
What you need.
Like nobody knows you more than yourself. Like so like people need space. People need a certain amount of this and a certain amount of that. It's different for everybody.
And like as someone, I literally feel exactly the way you do, like down to even the not wanting necessarily to ask for help or reach out, but just as someone that's been there and that has a lot of people in my life who really care about me a lot, even though I might not reach out that often, them repeatedly saying, hey, if you ever need it, I'm here. And just having that reminder is always good for me, because you will hit a point where you have, and whether it's me or someone else, like just to know that you have people that are accessible, frequent, and safe spaces for you if you need it. For someone like me, like that's really important, because I don't like to ask for help. So to have people tell me, hey, I would love if you asked me for help, is honestly good for me to hear, because oftentimes I have to remind myself, Amanda, like sometimes people asking for help.
They want to help.
It's about you bonding, them wanting to bond with you, and them wanting to be there for you and give love for you. And and for me, like I can cut off good feeling things from myself a lot. So for me to know that and then to make the choice consciously is really important. So you do whatever you want with it, but just obviously know that if you ever need it, I
feel the same way. I think it's, in a weird way, I've chosen to try to be more open with my family members, which has been an interesting path. Not necessarily that they know the full scope, but I've, been talking with my sister a little bit more of being like, these are the burdens that I am carrying right now. And these are the things that I just, not necessarily asking for help, but I just want you to know this is what's happening. And being able to, with my mother has been a consistent evolving communication, getting to where we need to be. But I'm fucking a broke bitch, and then she always will say things to just be helpful. But, it doesn't always come across. It's like triggering that
a little bit, maybe.
And she just casually mentioned, hey, why don't you go back to school? And I was like,
no.
Why would I do that?
No.
And then she was just like, to make more money. And
I'll be more in debt. if I go back to school?
And then something clicks in you because you're like, this can go one or two ways.
Yeah.
And I can either just be like, no, mom, I don't want to know, blah, blah, blah. Or explain why this is triggering for me.
Yeah.
And I took the time.
You explained it.
I explained it.
Fuck
even
yeah!
though she did.
I'm so proud of you.
It took a while to explain. I was like,
whoa, that's
Mom?
not easy either. That takes a lot of guts. It's not easy.
it was a lot. I was like, listen, school costs money. And even if I wanted to go back to school, there's nothing that I'm not doing now that I could get more with school that I could instead be focusing on experience.
There's still
like,
greater potential with what
yes,
you have now.
I could go back. I was like, at any moment, I can get a corporate job. At any moment, I have a resume to get a corporate job to get more money. But I'm happy. As much as it sucks, like I'm poor, but I'm happy. And I'd rather be poor than and happy than wealthier and in a job that I don't want to do. And it was like, I was already doing that. I don't want to do that anymore. And she was like, you know what? You're right.
Wow.
She's like, I'd rather you. She's like, I don't want you to get a job. I know you were so unhappy in your last job. She's like, you're right. It's not about money. Just keep doing what you're doing. If you love to do it, that's it.
Literally
And
gonna
I was literally like, it was,
oh my God.
And that's all it took.
And that's all it took was you being brave enough and vulnerable enough to talk about yourself.
And I feel like I wouldn't have done that even a couple of months ago. I would have just been like, because my mind was thinking, oh, here goes my mom again. Like, just ignore her and just be like, no, mom, I don't want to do that. And just shut it down. And I was just like, you know what? No, I need to take the time to explain to her why this is triggering to me. It was like, you saying that makes me feel like I'm failing. And I'm happy where I'm going. Yes, I'm poor. And yes, this is job. But that's the winter. I'm like, in the summer, I'm working full time. I have a job that I love. Like, right now, it's just not great. And right now, I have to pay this bill and that bill. Everything's piling up, but I'm still happy. Yeah. And I want you to know I'm still happy doing what I do. Yeah. And then that was good. Like her hearing that, being able to say, okay, that's all I need to hear is that you are still happy. Because she was worried.
She's ultimately worried about you.
I knew it was coming from a place that she was like, I'm worried. I know you have all this stuff. I know you see, like, she was just trying to give me solutions. And
she's trying to be helpful. Protect you. But she's trying to protect you.
Oh, look, you can go back to school. My brother's going back to school. Like,
that was probably literally just the first thing that came up in her head.
It comes to mind. And I realized that. And like being able to actually take a step back and say, why is she saying this? Okay, I know she's saying this because she cares about me. And she's actually trying to just come up with a solution.
What was her intention?
Exactly.
It's not to hurt you.
It wasn't to be malice or anything like that. Like, I knew that I was like, you're saying this because you know everything that I'm going through right now.
And it's painful for you to watch me be stressed by these things.
That as much as like maybe if I would decide to go a different direction right now, that's not going to help. It's just going to make me be more in debt. So it was just like, it was, that felt refreshing because I felt like I was able to do that. Like, I don't think I would have been able to do that if I didn't take these steps to get to where I am and know exactly what I need to get through. Like, that felt good after being off the phone to be like, I did that. Like, I was able to be like,
that's
this
a huge
is what I
milestone for you.
Yeah,
I know how you kind of like dance around your emotions and stuff.
Realizing that right now.
That's you should be really proud of yourself.
I know how it is. Like with my mom, like trying to explain shit to my mom.
With that culture and how they grew up and like.
And you talk about your mom and her circumstances a lot. Yeah, like.
But that really all it takes, because like, I think I've said this before. Like my relationship with my mother has been like the best it's ever been, like within these last few years, and it's really just because I've just taken the time. Don't get me wrong, she's way more understanding now, but like now it's like I'm actually taking the time to like explain certain things.
And it's worth it.
Well, but she's ready to listen now too.
Yeah.
That's true, because if I tried to have that conversation with my
your mom was ready to listen.
When I was 13-year-old mom, like,
it's because we're older too.
Yeah, but not. I mean,
I think it has to do with us being older too. Because I noticed. I don't know about you, Steph, but like with my mom, I noticed like as I was getting as I was getting older, she was listening more. Like it was more of like a respect because you're a man.
Yes, you're an adult now, and you have
You know what I'm saying? Like I think when you were growing up specifically for a Latinx family, there was always the pressure of like, I need to instill in you these things to prepare you. What are you going to do when you get a wife or when you get a husband? This is the things. And then you're fighting back like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. They're like, well, what are you going to do this? Like, I need to make sure that you're okay. And like now we're at a stage like we're living that life where we haven't been reliant on our parents specifically. So now it's more of a peer of like, hey, mom, I know you're concerned. I'm still going to have my ups and downs just like you had your ups and downs. And these are the steps I'm taking, but rest assured that I'm still happy with the decisions I'm making. So we're doing okay. We're doing okay. But I appreciate her, like, you know what I mean? That was her way of checking in. That was her way of letting me know. And it was hard because it was a FaceTime. She's like, I just wanted to see your face. And I was like,
that's even
listen,
more
Mom,
vulnerable.
like,
More vulnerability.
It's just like what Amanda
like,
said.
I get what you're saying.
The intention, her intention was to help.
Her
you.
intention's to love, but that's the thing is sometimes you have to tell other people how to best respect and honor and love you. And it's like your mom knows you, but this was a lesson where it's like she needed that little, because ultimately she realized that what that kind of attitude ultimately harmed you more than it actually helped you. And that was her intention, was never to harm you, it was to help you. So like now she realizes that her supporting you is more helpful to you than her questioning if the career path you're on is right.
Right. And I was like, I love that you FaceTime me. I was like, yes, mom, call me. I was like, just seeing your face is good. Like, I love this. I love talking. Like, but no, I'm not going back to school. It's not happening.
Well, damn. I know you're feeling really, really, like, I know you're struggling really hard emotionally, but like, to me, like, honestly, like, you're kind of in like a dark night of the soul section where you just like, you're looking at all the really tough stuff and you're starting to really address like things, these holes that have been in your life the whole time with certain people and like closing all those gaps. And I feel like a lot of the times, like, you don't have the courage to do that until you're emotionally stripped bare and fucking tired, and you're too tired to keep a face anymore. You're too tired. You're too depressed and tired to have the energy to pretend to be somebody else or to adopt.
Pretend to want to listen because she'll just keep. I'm just like, no, you know what? I just need
it's less energy to explain.
Like,
it's less energy to be vulnerable and raw and open at where you're at. Like, when you're that depressed, it is way less energy to just express yourself. And it's just like, as horrible as it is, like, and I've been having this discussion with a few people lately, like, as horrible as it is to experience stuff like this, there's a lot of utility in what you're going through right now, and like, it will give you a lot later, and it's already giving you stuff, but like, to actually,
this is a really good pivotal moment that I can take good steps with. And what's funny is, I don't know, like, I feel myself almost being outside of myself because I know and I recognize that I need to talk to someone. I need to figure out therapy. It's on my list to do. Insurance is a fucking bitch. Don't even get me started. But if I have to just pay out of pocket, I need to do that because I know that I'm reaching a point where I'm not running out of tools.
You need more tools. You need formal education for how to deal with abstract stuff in here.
The first step. And the second step where I know what to do, but I know I can see it going to it's like, okay, I'm getting to a ground where now I think I need more resources. I need to figure out the best way for me to proceed from this with all these new factors. I knew what worked for me a year ago.
But it's different now.
I don't know if that's going to work for me now, and I need to figure out what's going on there a little bit. And I feel like I'm in a good spot. I have a great support system. There's nothing outside factors necessarily. It's more me.
And then just finding the therapist to be able and going to do through that whole thing.
And I love my friends and I love everyone who's reached out, but I need someone that is.
You need an unbiased third party.
I need someone else
that
to
is
be
also
like,
equipped.
hey.
Like, I'm not saying that you can't obviously talk to your friends. They can help you process stuff.
It's always there. And like, but
it's all great. Sometimes, actually, most of the times, your friends are usually not equipped to help to navigate, like. The brain is so abstract and so complex and so fucking amazing. And we do a disservice by thinking that we are equipped with all the tools to handle, because our bodies and our brains are literally smarter than us. Like, so sometimes you need a third party that can literally help unravel and build that self-awareness, cultivate it to a deeper level. It's like, you can learn a lot on your own, right? But then when you hit a certain level of skill, you need to learn from somebody else. So you've learned pretty much all you can learn on your own.
Things that were recognizable. Now there are things happening, like dreams and all these things that are things that are usual. They're kind of I don't know if I'll talk about this specifically, but it's like it's changing up on me a little bit too much where I feel like I need to talk to someone.
Okay.
So I need to process that.
It's noticeable enough. There's
It's
enough
noticeable
new
enough
things.
where it's like I need to bounce this off of someone who can
Yeah.
kind of tie it back to like, okay, why am I
Yeah.
dwelling on these specific things?
Yeah.
Like, why is this what I keep going on? I know there's a bunch of shit going on and stress and all that stuff, but there's also a bunch of good stuff going
Yeah.
on. So I want to be able to like, okay, what is the best way to kind of navigate through this?
So you can honor
And
the good
it's
stuff,
not-
but also the bad
Yes,
stuff.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I know friends will be understandable. They will be able to give advice to some things, but
But
I
not.
need something higher than
No,
that.
as someone
I
that's
need
had a
something
lot of
that's-
therapy and has like studied this a lot, like
Yeah.
if I didn't have a therapist or like have certain access to certain resources and tools that I use pretty much every day to manage my extremely powerful emotions, like I would be a completely different person. And like I've done a lot of internal work and like I feel pretty good at managing my emotions, but like I also just spent 2 years in the most depressive hole of my life and I learned how to manage it from that. And I had a therapist for pretty much that whole time because it fucking and sometimes I saw my therapist twice a week because I literally like every day was like a negotiation to get through every fucking day. And like meeting certain people along the way really helped, like, and that started to build my network and stuff. But it's like when you're where you are right now, like I'm so glad that because a lot of people are in this spot and they don't want to help themselves or they don't want to ask somebody or seek out a therapist
Yeah,
or
like you're acknowledging
do
it
the
and,
work.
like-
Yeah, like you're really self-aware and you're intentional about it. So
Which
like
is so I don't know, it's crazy now that I'm thinking about it.
yeah.
And this is the first
It's
time
new
me
for
actually like
you.
saying it out loud. I've been thinking these things in my head, which is why I love that, I have this safe haven where like things just come out and I'm like, oh,
Right.
this is where I needed to be talking about.
And sometimes
it's kind of
talking,
always been
saying it out loud is a
literally
game
in the back of my head. I was like, I need, and yeah, I need to, because I was like, I don't want to be where I was 5 years ago. So I know that like this is the point where now I can interject and take it the way I need it to go, so I can still keep going the way I'm going, but not lose myself too much. you
Yeah,
know?
because you can. It's a very slippery slope with grief and depression. It's like you can easily just completely fall off the edge, and like you need someone that's
been
gonna
very,
help
very
you.
tempting.
It's very tempting
very
sometimes.
tempting.
It's so and like that's the thing. It's very alluring sometimes when you feel this dark. So like finding people, things, therapists, resources to anchor you in the reality and help you walk that extremely uneven tightrope. Like it's a skill. Like really, like as clinical as it sounds, navigating depression, navigating grief, it's a skill. It's a muscle that you have to build, and you don't get the opportunity to build it until you're in it. That's the tough part. You can't prepare for it ahead of time. You can't wrestle with grief until it's on you. That's it. Like, and it's a huge emotion. It's powerful, and it like even now, like I feel like I've purged through a lot of it, and like we've gone through very different things. But even now, like I still have grief that comes out of me and it will still surprise me sometimes. And I just let it come out and I honor it, and it needs to be heard and needs to be seen. But like I'm still surprised that I still have emotions in me that are coming out from years ago. And it's like that's the thing. That's why it's like people, you got to honor like how beautifully complex you are, and like listeners too. Like everyone is so complicated and in a beautiful, gorgeous way. But like there's nothing wrong with needing help. Like we aren't born with fucking manuals, and we're the most complicated machine on the planet. And we are not born with any user manuals. We're not born with any. We're only given the tools from our parents, and our parents are still children walking around, and they don't know what they're doing. And like that's not
And
to
they
be
do. I mean, they do their best, but
and we love them for it. But they're
are
human.
also learning. Like,
Yeah.
when I was fairly young when I saw my mother cry for the first time, and that was my first time of knowing, oh shit, like
How
this
big.
isn't fair. Like, like that's when I pretty much lost my innocence, which is like people think of, when the child that like lives in the bubble, I was just like, oh, you're human. Like, what is going on? And whereas like my mom was crying on my shoulder, and I was literally like 5. I was like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, but then you realize like, okay, yes, they scarred you in your own way, but they were also just giving you the tools that they had.
And they're doing the, like,
and
literally.
that's it. And they didn't
they're
have
doing
the
the
best
best.
tools
And, like, sometimes the
to work
best is
with
not
that.
good at all. Sometimes the best is terrible. But, like, that's the thing. We're all
That's what they had
human.
available. And then you're the next
Yeah.
generation to then take those tools, evolve it from there so that if you do have kin or just people in your life to influence, you can give a step further to be like, these are the lessons I've learned. This is what I can give to you to hopefully give you
And
something a little bit better than what I've been
it's
giving.
so important to have enough humility to know that you know nothing. Like, to be humble enough to know that you need to be taught, that there are so many lessons to learn, and that you want to try to soak up as much information and as many lessons as you can, especially if you plan on having children. It's developing the self-awareness to pass on to other generations, because that's the thing. It's like the things that you're not aware of, the things that you don't know how to process accurately, that's the stuff that will affect your children. That's the stuff that will get on to people that you know, that you love. And the thing is, you cannot. There's no way that you cannot traumatize them. There's no way. Yeah. Like, just by living
you can't control every aspect.
You can't.
There's a lot of people that kind of make the mistake, like, I want to protect my children from everything.
Everything.
It's like, they need to learn things from themselves as well. But what you can do is be like, this is what I experienced and this is what I learned. So that there was so many things from just watching my mother and things that happened to her that I could say, I know I don't want this.
Right.
I know I do want this. I don't want that. Like, I was able to take that in, thankfully, at an early age of being a fly on the wall. Of just like, this is what I can piece out for myself. To be able to be like, okay, this is my experience. This is what I can at least give you a little bit of a guidebook.
Yeah.
Here are footprints. Follow them if you want or make your own. It's up to you, but this is what I have to offer and you can do what you want with it.
Yeah. And it's just, I think, like, the most important skill is, like, humility and being willing to know that you need to be taught. Like, you are aware, and then you also know that you need to be taught new skills. And because you can feel, like, the lack of the support of those skills right now, and you feel it really sharply. And, like, it's so important to know, like, and, like, you're able to do that, though, because you're okay with knowing that you don't know it all and that you don't have to, and that you're okay with needing help. And, like, that's the thing. It's like, you need being okay with not being good at stuff, being okay with needing help, being okay with needing a guide, being okay with being at the bottom of the barrel. Like, it's not that it's comfortable, but, like, it's a skill to learn how to be okay when you are not comfortable, to just let yourself be uncomfortable. And if it's lasting a long time, just being able to sit in that discomfort and tolerate it.
That whole, it's okay to not be okay.
It's
and
a
like,
skill.
It's okay to not know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay not to know what the fuck I'm doing.
Yeah.
I know my passions. I know what's great, but, like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
And if you're willing to admit that, you can be taught.
I literally want to learn.
Yes.
I want to accept. I want to figure it out and just move forward.
But if you're too ego driven,
but
or
even you saying that, it takes courage to even say that out loud.
Does. No, it takes tremendous. All of this does. Like, it takes courage to, like, to ask for help. It also takes courage to not ask for help and just to process on your own. And like, all of these things take courage, but, like, the most courageous act is, like, the self-awareness to know and then act to make the choice that's going to best give you a better future, even if it's a humbling decision, even if it means that you don't know fucking shit, even if it means that you have nothing and that you literally have to go and ask somebody for everything. Like, no, but being able to be okay with that will get you places. Like, and it's just getting out of your own way, like, not thinking that you need to have it all figured out. Like, fuck that. Like, this is so complicated. I love life. I love the human experience, but this is so challenging.
It's so challenging.
This
Even
is
if you
so
think
challenging.
You know, you don't. You really don't.
You don't.
Because tomorrow, everything can change. All you can do is put your best foot forward and do what's best for you and do what makes you happy and be open to the opportunity and just recognize when you might need that support system and go from there, because literally we don't know.
No.
Everyone is a human just trying to figure their shit out. And that's
And when you learn that, it's easy to not take things personally. It's much easier.
The sooner
to
you
not
recognize
take things
that
personally.
everybody else is just trying to figure it out.
And sometimes
just
we bump
like
into
you.
each other figuring that out. Sometimes we
That's
hurt
it.
each other figuring that. And it doesn't excuse anything, but
No.
it's just have grace and compassion for your fellow humans. Like, your parents did their best. And like, I'm so sorry if you had a family that was truly terrible. Like,
Yeah,
but
there
it's
are
like if you,
people
but
that
you have
don't
to
know how to
and you have to think
process,
there
and
are people
that's-
that don't know even basic emotional things, and then they have children, and then they teach their children all that they know, and they might not know fucking shit. And it's like, that's not their fault that they didn't know, but it's like, that still doesn't excuse the behavior, but it's just like, it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter where you're at. Like,
This is just a side note. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I kind of not really, but Wine and Crime, what's up?
yes.
I was listening to, was it Wine and Crime? Or was it My Favorite Murder? See, now I'm so blended. Oh.
Now she's so depressed she can't tell anymore.
I can't tell. I'm pretty sure it was
all
Wine
running
and Crime.
together.
But there was a guy where it's like his mother was not great.
Mm-hmm.
It was neglect. Pretty much at 7 years old, he was breaking into vacation homes to get necessities. So he would
Because he was so
steal,
neglected.
like a tent and like night vision goggles to then live in the
damn.
woods.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
since 7, he was like
Damn.
on his own. I mean, he got to a point where like it became a thing where like he would break into homes, grab things, and just like, so he would like fly to places, crash a plane, and like break into another home, steal a helicopter, drive to
my
like. So he ended up getting finally caught like after like in Jamaica or something like that, and he had broken into like 90 homes and stuff. Never like a victim crime.
No,
of, like,
just
never
stealing,
harmed anyone.
purely
Hold on, just a side
stealing.
note. I always find it mad interesting with these kind of stories where it's like the person is so skilled and he can probably do
90
a lot.
fucking
Yeah, like,
houses.
literally, like he learned how to fly by himself by just watching DVDs and reading books.
Yeah, but like you can apply that to something. But anyways, go ahead.
It's just like crazy. He was just like, okay,
Remember,
yeah,
you
I
don't
wanna
have
fly.
to be perfect. You just need to give yourself
Oh,
a
and
chance
he
to
couldn't
learn.
land. He couldn't land.
You
When he
just gotta
crashed, he
that's
would
why
crash.
he crashed. It worked out. You guys, it worked out
But
for
he
him.
could take off. He could do all stuff.
If
and
he
blah,
can
blah,
do
blah.
it, you can do it.
He finally got caught. And okay, so he was on his own by 7. When he got caught and like had all those things against him, he was 19 years old.
Fuck.
So it was just like,
Oh, he was just past the legal age to try him as an adult.
yeah, literally. But like he ended up just going to jail, I think, for 5 years or something like that. And then obviously he had to pay a bunch of fines,
Of
which
course.
he ended up getting like a movie deal for like 1 point something million. But that
No,
was, like,
I have heard. I think this was on
yeah,
Wine and Crime.
it
I'm
was.
pretty sure this was
and
Wine
that
and
ended
Crime.
up only being half.
Yeah, and
but then at the end of the day, his mom ended up getting cancer, and then he made like a GoFundMe to literally raise money. It's like a not great, but like he wanted to try to still preserve his mom in some
Wow.
way to like freeze her and save her.
Wow.
And people were like, "Why would you do that
Why?
to someone who neglected you and didn't care about you?" He's like, well, I always felt bad as her son. Her hopes and dreams never came true. And I want to try to freeze her so that she can then have the chance to do that because she's dying. So it's like, yes, you can literally be put through shit, but he knows I don't have the answers. I'm still trying to figure out. He recognized his
That
mom
she lost
is
at,
trying
like,
to figure her
right.
shit out. Didn't go about it the best way, but he was just like, she's human. I'm human. I still want to help her. I still like, she's my mom and I love her. And like, I was just like, there it is.
Shit.
I was like, not the best way to go
And
about
that's
it,
not
but
to
I
say
was
that
just
you
like-
should just blanket forgive anyone that like neglects you, but it's more
No,
so
but
like
it's-
he was very aware that his mom wasn't necessarily like trying to she might have neglected him and that was wrong, but like the intention was not to like leave him on his own. It's just how it happened. And like that's not to say that she shouldn't have tried to do other things, but that's literally that's how it happened. Like it went down like that. There's nothing you can say now about it, but he is aware enough to know that she's just trying to fucking figure it out, and maybe she didn't do it in the best way, but that's how it
It's like,
happened.
yeah, your parents scar you in their own
Yeah.
way. It's like not because they didn't love you, not because they were just
Although
like,
some,
whatever,
I will
at
say
least
some, we listen to enough crime stories that we know sometimes people are actually terrible.
No,
But,
yeah,
like,
some
those
people are
special
terrible,
circumstances, like
but like, you know, I mean, even except for like myself, like, yeah, there was some shit that I'm like, my mom did not do great.
yeah,
And probably should have. There was a lot of things that didn't go great, but I know she
same.
was doing the best she
best.
could
Yeah.
in what she had in her toolbox.
yeah.
that's what she had to work with. And so it's like, okay, I want more tools than you had, and then pass on more tools to the next generation.
Because you're recognizing that too, like that's
I feel like
important.
the biggest step you could take is to recognize that, to be able to say, hey, I have a toolbox. I don't have enough tools.
But I need a wrench. I don't have a wrench. I don't have a screwdriver.
I don't have how I can prepare myself and equip myself with these things so that I can tackle the world ahead of me that is so unknown.
Yeah. And so that you can, in theory, pass on what you know. You can feel the best about yourself for passing on. Feel like you've built up enough info to give to your children when you have them. And it's like you won't have all the answers, but you're doing your best right now to mine as much information as you can for the future.
I'm not gonna lie, I look forward to scarring my children in my own way.
I honestly look forward to it as well.
I know. I'm far from perfect. So I know I'm going to scar them and they're going to be super embarrassed of me, and I'm fine with it. Like, you need to learn pretty young. Let's go.
Let's go, bro.
You know, I will still be able to hand over some tools to be like, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, but then you'll have A, B, C to deal with it, okay? So don't worry. I won't leave you alone. I'll give you a tent and night vision goggles.
That's funny.
I think that's a great exit line. What do you think?
This is amazing.
But this is great. Like,
This was a great episode.
all of this is just like, it's
I
like such a
literally
teachable.
love you both so much.
Love you back, yo. Like, it's such a teachable moment, just like the whole, just all of this. And you guys do this a lot more often.
What's funny is
we don't mean to.
I know, it's great.
Every time, like, can I just tell the listeners, every time I feel like we're in a kind of a little bit of a time crunch, we're not really sure what we want to talk about. We're just like, okay, well, let's just do it and see what happens. Those end up being the most impactful episodes.
The ones we don't plan.
Today was supposed to be a short episode, and we were supposed to just get in and out. I know I'm going to walk out of here feeling 10 times better than I did walking in.
You dumped out some stuff, which is great.
Oh, yeah.
Super thankful to have both of you guys. I'm super thankful to have my support system. I'm super thankful for every listener who takes the time to even listen to us talk about these things. And I wouldn't trade this for the world. I'm so happy here.
Literally
I'm
like the
happy
Grinch. I
in
can
this
feel
moment.
my heart growing three sizes.
You.
3 sizes too big.
Appreciate both of y'all sharing
I love the Grinch.
Appreciate both of y'all sharing the shit that you guys share, because it's really just a teachable moment and people are going to resonate. And
This is the stuff. Be open with your emotions. That doesn't mean get them all over people, but like, you should be safe to express and and let yourself be exactly who you are. And that means all the feelings inside of you, even the ones that you don't like or the ones that are uncomfortable. And we hope that going forward that we can create more of an environment for that in our listeners where they can be themselves with us.
Yeah, I want us to be that safe space to say, hey,
where you can explore yourself too.
These things we want to talk about. If you're going through something really similar or you're finding different ways to navigate, we want to hear about it. We want to we want to just be that.
We want an open dialogue with our...
be able to say, hey, this is great. Or even advice, honestly. I will take all of it. So feel free.
It'd be cool to get a therapist on a show. If we have any therapists that listen to us, get at us.
Who might be interested.
That would be so dope to get an actual therapist.
In this building, there's a lot of therapists.
Maybe, get at it. If you know a therapist that listens or that would be interested in sharing some really wonderful, and obviously we're going to screen them and stuff first.
I would love to just be able to... I know we can give tools through our experience, but I'd love to give more tools. So if you know someone and you know, there are so many people who do listen, so we can share that with everyone. And I want
we love you for listening.
We love you so much.
Woo! Steph, use your announcer voice.
Yes. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for coming out today. We can't wait to see you. Amanda, what do we need to remember for next time?
And with that being said, please remember to always keep it savage with your self-development and sexy with your self-perception.
Goodbye.
We got the sauce.
I do, baby. You know I do.
Oh, that was good.
That was a really nice one. Thank you for listening.
Savage and Sexy is presented by A Vibe Entertainment and produced by Baldwin. The only reason we got this far, because y'all know we ain't got our shit together. The Savage and Sexy is self-funded. If you like the show and want to support us, subscribe to our Patreon, The Savage and Sexy, or donate on Anchor and GoFundMe. You can find us on Instagram, The Savage and the Sexy. Email us at thesavageandthesexy@gmail.com. Thank you for being savage and sexy with us. And we'll see you next time.